the state.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure
you're right.
that
There's a lot of theys.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
That's a big they.
and I've always been, when people say, "Oh, we're going to have to pay back the money," I think we're going to say, "Give it to someone else to manage." I think that is my theory. Is we're saying we're done. It's been an albatross. We're done hassling with it. Give it to someone else. I don't think we got money to buy it. I think, but I don't know. But as I remember way back when we were first working on this, I don't think that we would owe money back. But maybe you could find out. 'Cause I don't
I think
we
we'll
were-
clarify that.
Yeah, that would be
Your memory's pretty good.
sometimes.
Yeah. All the time. Anyone else? We'll go ahead and close public comment. Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, this property has just been a problem from the beginning, even from the original concept, I think. Because we never really wanted to open it up for public use, but that was a condition of the grant that it was used to acquire the money. And yeah, the county didn't want to have anything to do with it. The Forest Service doesn't want to have anything to do with it. I guess one of the questions that I have in the map that we're seeing is the project area or the project location is in yellow. And there's a lot of property here that's not a part of that chunk of land that was purchased. So I'm just wondering where all of this got tied up to the property that the Land Conservancy purchased, or that we took over. Because the project area listed here is much larger than the property that was acquired.
And that was my next question. What was the property that was acquired, and what was the property that it says in the briefing was combined together? So what was the one piece that was acquired, and then what's the total?
And I will let Candace correct me if I'm wrong in that, but I believe the direction from council when we went down, put the wilderness plan together and then moved forward was we had this other piece and this piece, and it just made sense to merge them together as part of the wilderness plan. I don't think there was anything that was part of the grant that required it. We just chose, if we were going to go through this effort, to bring the pieces together. Now, as far as we'll go through several of the questions, the purchase, Jennifer, you're generally correct that we didn't get the money to get it. The transaction was happening kind of independent of us, the last minute, and the county was going to be the hold the land. They moved out at the last minute. The city inserted itself, and no good deed goes unpunished, and here we are today. So we became the owners of this land, or the responsible party, but we did not get the money. Let me clarify that there is no threat at this point of saying if you do not approve phase 2, you have to pay the money back. That is not the case. This is not something that is being imposed upon us. It is something that is being requested, that phase 2, by individuals that are part, or the Land Conservancy itself, that went through the process of working to acquire this land for the intention of hopefully coming up with public access. But there is nothing that is requiring it. And if you've got something additional
I do, and I just came to my brain remembering that planning commission meeting. Yes, the majority of the residents that were there at that meeting were opposed to this 1 mile loop trail, the phase 2 aspect. But absent of us spending more money to revise the plan and take it out altogether, the direction was to do this phase 2 that required this other action by the council after this adoption that would have to happen for it to be implemented, because it was pretty clear from the residents that were there, the majority of them, that they were opposed to the loop trail. We originally intended that to meet that criteria for public access, but later through that process, when we found out that the San Dimas Canyon Trail met the requirement, it really didn't, it was no longer necessary. So staff wasn't a proponent for that phase 2. It was already simply in the plan, and so by conditioning this other action that the council would take, really made it to where nobody has expectations that phase 2 would ever come to play. And as the city manager mentioned, we're not at risk of losing those grant dollars with the current access that we have. So phase 2 was left in simply so we weren't spending more money to take it out of a plan that was ready to be adopted at that time. So I just wanted to update that, because I recall that now after the fact.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Can I,
Shearer.
Yeah.
let me just finish the other two questions that came up. As far as alternate phase, so there is no alternate phase that we're really proposing because there's no need to. I'm not suggesting, I mean, if council wants to proceed with some alternative to public access, I think the public opinion is pretty strong on not, but that certainly can be something council's interest. As far as the items being included, yes, when it comes to a public hearing, everything will be available for the public review because that's when it'll be a public hearing. This, as a study session, was just to familiarize council and the public and remind them of the subject and kind of all these different aspects that we have here today to kind of discuss. So that when it does come forward, it's not coming from this completely stalled position. It's at least got some understanding behind it.
Yeah, the only thing I would recommend that in the future, when we have maps, that we actually define that area that was acquired from the Conservancy, so we,
I have that now, so yes.
yeah,
We can do that.
So you're going to put that all out?
so we can just have it as a separate issue, yeah.
So basically, I think the bottom line is that recalling now, as Mr. Director Shearer and Candace had said, phase 2 is a no-go. Phase 1 is absolutely because we have to do fire clearance and a few modifications. So we rotate with that. If it's already in place, the EIR is already in place, so we go ahead and have a meeting. But to Ms. Beauchamps and also Ms. Berry, I think we need to expand that 500 to, we need to expand that area because you have everything down to basically to Country Club, Birdie, anyone in the new tract. You've got Marshall Canyon, you've got Rustic Canyon, you've got Golden Hills Estates, you've got Mountain Springs, you've got all those areas that are affected. So it wouldn't hurt us to go ahead and expand that out to a larger area instead of the 500. I think we should go over to 1,000 or 1,500, wherever, because one ember, as we all know, will start a fire anywhere in the community. So, and we are in a high fire zone, as it says in the map, because it even stated that. So I think we need to do that. But and all the information, please. We need to get the information out to the residents to see what it was, just kind of rekindle that information because it's been so long and it's been kind of moving along. But I think it's in place for us to review it and then have some more input from the residents. But it sounds like
Item Marie just came back too. As I recall, the biggest people that wanted the trail.
Come up there just
Yeah.
in case.
Sorry.
we'll let you because you're the
That's in my
information
living
guru
room.
tonight.
Okay. The biggest people that really wanted the trail was a bicycle group.
Yes.
And it was out of towners, and we all said, we don't want the Claremont Loop. We wanted to see what it is. So I think that's part of, everyone in town said no, and then the bicycle, they were all over with their shoes on and their bikes outside.
Again, you're correct.
Yeah, so that, it wasn't really the townspeople. So I think we're.
Okay. So, council, do we need any other? I think we've got our direction. So we'll try to get this on the April 16th meeting, or September, I mean? September.
We can wait
Not
till April.
No. Let's get this done so we get the fuel mod and get that set up. So we make sure that staff
Indeed.
can carry this one.
I mean, just to clarify, the fuel mod is happening, so I don't want people to freak out.
We are.
Yes, the fuel mod
Yes.
is happening. So all this is going to put this in.
I think the fire marshal's been up there a few times
Yeah.
already, so checking that out. So, yeah.
Thank you.
So that's it.
We have our direction.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 6:10, and we're going to open up our other meeting at 6:30. Thank you for all attending.